What's up and welcome to My Point of View. I am your fat and opinionated host, and a complete and utter bombshell just dropped. It turns out that a former employee of the Mad Greek restaurant in Moscow, Idaho, gotta be careful not to say Moscow, or people all over the internet will freak out. But a former employee of the Mad Greek restaurant has now stepped forward saying that they saw Bryan Kohberger eating at that restaurant at least twice before the Idaho 4 slayings. Now, why is this so significant? Well, 2 of the Idaho 4 victims worked at this restaurant. Xana and Madison both worked at this restaurant. And if this is true, then this may be one of the connections that Bryan has to these victims. I don't know if Bryan maybe walked into this restaurant and that's where he, first saw them. Or maybe Bryan would eat at this restaurant during the time that he was already stalking these people. But one thing that really sticks out to me here is, it's like everyone seems to believe that Bryan was after Kaylee. If he was stalking these victims, and he was at this restaurant watching them, then maybe she was not his main target like everyone seems to believe. Now I'm going to go into more of my thoughts and all of that stuff in just a moment. But first I want to hop into this article because it provides a good bit of information as to what this former employee said. Now while you're here, be sure to follow me on Swagit as well if you want to join the $100 giveaway. But let's go ahead and hop into this article. In the weeks before the slayings of 4 University of Idaho students last November, the man now accused of unaliving them allegedly ate at the restaurant where 2 of the victims worked. According to a former employee at the Mad Greek restaurant in Moscow, Idaho, Bryan Kohberger came in at least twice to grab vegan pizza. 2 of the victims, Madison and Xana, were servers at the restaurant. It's unclear if either woman ever waited on Kohberger or if they even ever interacted. But it has been confirmed that a now deleted account that appeared to belong to Kohberger once followed both Mogan and Coronado on Instagram, along with the 3rd female victim, Kaylee Gonzalez. People has also confirmed via an investigator familiar with the case that law enforcement is aware of the restaurant visits and that the investigators have interviewed employees and owners of the Mad Greek restaurant. They have also collected surveillance video from the restaurant and surrounding businesses. The former employee says that there was nothing suspicious about Kohberger's visits to the Mad Greek and that he only stood out because he had a particular order. A strict vegan, Kohberger would check to make sure that his food had not come in contact with any animal products. You know what? In this sick and twisted world, wouldn't it be weird? Wouldn't it be something if that was really the motive? We keep hearing about how particular Bryan was about being a vegan. How he made his parents buy new pots and pans. If the meat had ever been cooked inside a pot and pan, then he didn't want his food cooked inside that same pot and pan. Wonder if maybe he thought that one of these 2 women messed up his order. What if there was accidentally a piece of pepperoni or sausage that creeped its way on his pizza? And him being the psychopath that he is, maybe he went nutso after that and decided to plan a whole freaking massacre because maybe his pizza got cooked in the same oven as a meat delight pizza. Your favorite meats, 5 meats on one pizza, cooking in the same oven as Kohberger's vegan pizza. Maybe that's what caused him to flip out. Crazier things have happened. People have gotten killed for less, sadly. But at the very least, if this type of information keeps coming out, then we have to approach this situation totally differently than the way that it's been approached so far. Because, I mean, they literally just told us not that long ago, or one of the lawyers for one of the victims, the Gonsalves family, he said that there was no connection, but as the days go by, we're hearing more and more, and it's starting to look like there are connections. But, like I told you all from the beginning, these connections may be like Bryan's connected to them, but they're not necessarily connected to Bryan. I keep saying this, and I'll say it 1,000 times. Bryan could have had an interaction with one of these two women. And to those women, it might have been a forgettable interaction that they never think about again a single second of their life. Whereas to Bryan, maybe it was something special. Maybe it was everything to him. Maybe he, we know that he was kind of odd socially. Maybe he picked up on the wrong social cues. I really do think at this point, if this is true, because People has been coming out, by People I mean like People magazine, they've been coming out with a lot of bombshells over the last couple of days. If this information is true, then I find it hard to believe that Bryan never interacted with any of these four individuals. And when I say interacted, like I said, it could be something as simple as one of them refilling his drink while he's at this restaurant. It could be something as simple as him asking them for a napkin. But I'm really curious to know if they had ever spoken to Bryan at all. Because I really want to know where, I don't know what to call it, where this obsession came from. Where did this interest come from? Why did Bryan choose to watch these four individuals and to take their lives? Why? He watched them for months. And now it looks as if he even went to their restaurant and would eat pizza. Was he doing that without even knowing those two women worked there? Or was he going there specifically really to see them, but he grabbed some pizza along the way? What were those restaurant visits about? Also, maybe, like I said, maybe that's where the first interest arose. He goes to this mad Greek restaurant, notices these two waitresses, or at least one of the waitresses, and then it goes from there. You know what I mean? But when we hear about this stalker, a lot of people have assumed that the stalker is Bryan. That could be a totally different person. They could, Kaylee could have been worried about this stalker, random stalker guy, not even knowing that she had an actual stalker guy that was planning something really crazy. But all in all, I think this changes everything just a tad bit. I think we're going to have to start approaching this situation from the standpoint of there was some type of connections. Regardless of how big those connections were, there was definitely some type of connection. And I don't know. If he's sitting here at this restaurant watching these individuals, then was this attack really about one of them as opposed to someone else? I think it's something that's worth digging into, looking into more. As the days go by, I mean, it looks like all types of information is leaking out. And I'll be covering all of that info right here on this channel. So if you haven't already, ring the notification bell. Because YouTube, it doesn't like sharing videos like that, okay? Especially from people who talk common sense and aren't part of the mainstream establishment. So if you want to know when my videos come out, you need to ring that notification bell. You can go subscribe to my main channel, Cinema Shogun, as well. We cover stories like this over there all the time. But for now, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.